As most of you already know, yesterday was the second of the month. Well, actually, today is the second of the month, but I'm not editing this tonight, so by the time you see this, yesterday will have been the second. And as many of you know, I'm a member of a little organization called Every Second Matters. If you want to know more about Every Second Matters, I'll put a link below to the website, or you can go over to gunchannels.com. But Every Second Matters is an organization that likes to bring awareness to the Second Amendment and the importance of the Second Amendment to everyone on the second of every month. Now, the one thing I do on the second of every month to try to bring awareness to the public that there are people around them that do carry firearms is that I open carry in a non-offensive way if possible, but I just open carry and go about my everyday life. Not trying to piss anyone off, not trying to offend anyone, not being in anybody's face, just doing the things I would normally do. Now, I'd like to say I was out all day fighting social injustice, being part of the solution, or even just out hobnobbing with socialites, but unfortunately, that's not my life. My life is very boring. So like every Monday, I basically just went to lunch at my favorite Japanese place, went to the veterinarian's office to pick up ear medication for my dog, and then went to IKEA. Usually I don't even bother to do videos about open carrying on the second anymore because no one ever notices or no one ever says anything, at least nothing negative. If anybody notices, it's usually something positive or someone that recognized me, so there's really nothing to say. But today, something actually happened. I actually got kicked out of IKEA. I was in IKEA shopping around, and I kind of noticed that one of the employees was eyeballing me. We were looking at the beds, and someone was eyeballing me, and then she kind of wandered off into a corner and got on her walkie-talkie. Well, a few minutes later, they send over this very timid-looking little fellow. He looked like he's about 12 years old, but I guess he was older since he was a department manager. And they sent him over to me, and he said, I hate to have to bother you, but here at IKEA, we have a no firearms policy. He was being very nice about it. He was like, we don't want to have to lose your business. We don't want you to have to leave, but we do have to ask you to either take it out and lock it in your car or go someplace else and shop. And he was being very nice about it. So, of course, I shot him. Well, no, of course, I didn't shoot him. He was being very nice. So I was nice back to him. I don't mind that that's his company policy. That's not his fault. I mean, I do mind that that is the policy, but it's not his fault. He's just doing his job. So I saw no reason to be mean to him. Plus, he kind of looked like he was terrified of me the whole time. He's just a little tiny fella. So, I said, that's fine, I'll do it. And I asked him a couple of questions on the way out because he did walk me to the door. I asked him, is this a company-wide policy? And he said, yes, it's a company-wide policy. It's actually in all of their stores. And I said, well, what if I carry in concealed? What's your rule about concealed? He said, well, if we can't see it, then I guess there's nothing we can do about it because, what we go do, go around and pat people down. And I was like, well, that makes sense. If you can't see it, you can't do anything about it. And he even asked me what kind of gun I was carrying, and it was a Beretta. I'm carrying a Beretta. And actually, today I'm actually carrying my gun in a holster that's specially made for Every Second Matters. It actually says Every Second Matters on the side of it. A gentleman named Nathan over at gunchannels.com made this holster for me. I think you can get one from him. I'm not sure what his website is. If I can find it, I'll put it in the description below. But he made this special holster for me that's actually embossed with Every Second Matters. And the guy actually asked me what I was carrying and what the Every Second Matters was. And I told him on the way to the door. And on the way to the door, he even mentioned that he was thinking about buying a gun because he's just a little guy. And I said, it's a good idea. It's always good to have a gun on hand. Whether you want to use it or not, it's good to have one. He mentioned he was looking at a Taurus lightweight revolver. And I was like, you might want to look at the Smith & Wesson 637. It's only a couple dollars more. And it's a much better gun. He's like, oh, I'll look at that. So we get to the door and I walk outside. He kind of stands inside the store. I walk outside. And once I was out on the sidewalk, I was a little bit embarrassed because, I just got kicked out of an IKEA. You know how hard it is to get kicked out of an IKEA? There's literally people in there in pajamas and slippers eating cup of noodles as they walk around shopping. So getting kicked out of there, I'm sure, is pretty low on the list of social standings. But once I was out there, I just untucked my shirt, covered up my gun, walked back inside. When I walked back inside, he was still standing over there by cash registers. He saw me. He just turned around, walked away, didn't say or do anything, so I didn't think he cared. So I went on, did my shopping, wasn't bothered again the rest of the time we were there, bought a bed, and left. So not much happened, but I did have a little interaction at IKEA. So I just thought I'd make this video today to show people that, you don't have to be a jerk if you get called out on concealed carry. If you're nice to them, they'll usually be nice to you. And two, if people out there were wondering if IKEA does have a no guns or no firearm policy, they do. They do have a policy against firearms in the store. So if you're one of these people that doesn't want to buy anything from a store that has no firearms policy, well, don't shop at IKEA. You're going to have to find somewhere else to buy your cheap, glued together pressboard crap. You ain't even my real dad. Usually lately, I don't even bother to do videos about what I do on the
Sorry
set.
about your homie. Homies.
That motherfucker. Is he gonna mow his fucking yard again? He just fucking mowed it.